Good morning, everybody. It's Shaw Marie. I'm going to work with the March bargain bead box again today. It's probably going to be my last March project, mainly because I'm out of beads. This is it. I'm done. So I want to make this pretty little cluster earring with you guys, and I'm also going to do a bracelet with a leather strap, and it's going to be beaded, and I think it's going to be really pretty. It will match the earrings pretty much because it will also have these little clusters. So let's get started. I want to start with the bracelet first because it's the simpler of the two projects. So let's dump everything out here. We are going to use 5 of these pretty 8mm, and I have 6 out here, but I'm going to use 5. I want to pick out the ones I like the best. I think I want to get rid of that one and pick all the greenish toned ones. I do have these clamps for the ends of the leather cord because it is going to be a leather cord bracelet. Unfortunately, I don't have any copper. I have 1 bronze and 1 rose gold. But preferably you would want 2 in the copper or whatever color your metal is that you're working with. These ones here are they are about 8mm. I'd say they're about 8mm, or I don't think they come 1/4 inch size, but they are just about 1/4 of an inch. Pretty sure they're sold in millimeter. Excuse me. They came in a package of multicolored and multi-sized, so boy, that's an interesting looking head pin. It's quite wonky. We're going to need, oh my gosh, these are really bad. We're going to need 8 ball head pins. I ran out of copper because I've used them up on so many projects that I am actually using bronze here. And that one's huge compared to the rest, so I think I'm going to pull that one right completely out. It's really thick. So we're going to use 8 ball head pins, again, preferably in copper. You can use these little fold-over ones, and I'm going to show you a couple of different options for this bracelet for the leather cord. This one I already made, and I used a braided leather cord, and I used that little fold-over. I used the one little fold-over one on this little braided leather cord. This came, I think I got it from Amazon. I'm not 100% sure, but I think it was from Amazon, and it was a nice big roll, and I didn't pay a whole awful lot for it. I'm going to say like 12 bucks. I've had this for so long, I honestly don't know. And then the method we're going to do today is going to be using 2 strands of this. It is, I got my paper here. This one did come from the Bead Box Bargains store, and it is a 2mm leather cord in black. This is the number for it, 465. So there's that. I'm going to move this out of my way because I'm going to constantly hit it. So my thought today is kind of a combination of using the braided cord and the 2mm cord. I'm going to do something a little bit different, something I've done in one of my bracelets before, and that's why I have these crimps out, because they're a little wider, and I'm going to run 3 strands today. I'm going to do 2 strands of the braided and 1 strand of the 2mm. So for this method, again, all I did was just 1 strand of the braided. Oh, I can't talk this morning. It does have a lobster claw clasp right here at the end of it, which I'm still going to do in this bracelet. Everything on this bracelet will be the same, except that it's going to have a different cord. But this is what it looks like. I think it's really, really pretty. And we are going to need a piece of wire. And did I get out my wire? Yeah, it's right here. I would prefer 18 gauge, but all I have is 20. I have ordered 18, but I don't have it yet. So if you have 18, you might want to consider trying that instead. I'm going to cut off about 5 inches. It really isn't going to be that much. Oops, sorry. I didn't mean to bump that. But that's, you know, that's more than enough to work with. These are, they look funny because they're bronze, but not copper. But that's okay. For the purpose of demonstration, bronze will be just fine. So my pieces of leather cord are going to be cut at 4 inches. So I'm going to need 2 of the braided, and I'm just going to try to put them together here and cut them at 4 inches. This will come out at about a 7.5 inch bracelet. So if you need bigger or smaller, this is a section you'd want to adjust it in, because this piece is going to be about 3.5 inches. Alright, now I want to take, first I want to trim the end off so it's flat. I want one piece of this at 4 inches. Going in the wrong direction here. Cut my ruler with it. Alright, so get all that out of the way. Because where this has been rolled, it has a natural tendency to want to curve, which if we work with that, we can use that curve to our advantage. So again, what I'm going to do is put one leather, one braided, it's all leather, piece of the 2mm, and another braided. This would also make a really pretty man's bracelet if you wanted to use like hematite beads. Leave out the bead caps, or even put in bead caps, I guess, or some type of spacer, but leave out the dangles. It'd make a real pretty man's bracelet. All we're going to do is take one of these little slip-on crimp covers, and you can definitely add some glue to it if you would like. I'm not going to here because I don't want to deal with waiting for glue to dry. But you want to line it up with your, make sure it's all nice and lined up, and then come in with a pair of flat pliers and just squeeze it enough to bite in to your leather. I probably should have gone with a little bit wider, or pushed my leather together a little bit more. Probably would have been a better idea, but we'll try getting it a little bit better on this side. I want to make sure all of these are flush. Even though I cut them all the same, they do shift a little bit. Let's see if I can do a better job putting them in here this time. Probably end up doing a worse job because I'm struggling too hard now. Alright, let's see if we can't get those in there. So there we have our 2 leather ends all on. So this will be the inside part of our band. So there we have it so far. It looks really pretty. Alright. So the next thing we're going to do is make a rolled loop on the end of our wire. So just bend it, come in at the top, up and over. So we have it like this. And just make a couple nice loops. Wraps, I mean. Boy, the birds are singing out there this morning like crazy. We had a major ice storm come in over the weekend. power was knocked out for over 24 hours. Finally got mine back on early this morning. I think there are still places that don't have power yet. But the trees, the lines, everything was just coated in ice. It was beautiful. When the sun hits it, it just glimmers, but made an awful mess. Okay, so we have this ready. We're not going to put anything on it yet because we have to wrap all these little dangly bits here. I don't know if I mentioned, but we have 10 bead caps because we have 5 beads. We have our jump rings. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 of our little faceted beads. Let me take this one away because that was just to show you what I used on the other bracelet. And then we have 8 of our ball head pins. That one is very odd looking. We'll get rid of that. So these are just going to be individually wire wrapped, and it is a long process. Individually wrapping every single one of these little tiny babies. It's even worse when you're doing the earrings because there's 20 total, 10 per earring, and they're done the exact same way as this. Every single one gets its own ball head pin. It really goes pretty quick though, believe it or not. Boy, these are super crooked. Hardest part for me and the longest part is finding the hole in these little things. Alright, I'm not happy with these pins either, so I'll probably have to get out a few more. This one's okay. Two more. There we go. Get rid of the cat here. There. Okay. So we're just going to simply that's a funny word for me to use. Nothing's ever simple for me. Alright, we're just going to give it a little, we're going to come down to the crystal, give it just a little bit of a bend so that you have a little, just a little wrapping room there, because you don't want to get too close, too tight on that crystal because it will crack. I've already cracked a couple of them. And just like the wire we did, go up and over, rotate your pliers, bring it around. And this is such a thin, soft wire, I'm just going to use my fingers. But 1, 2, I think I can get in 3. Well, 3 is kind of setting a little bit on top of that bead, but that's okay. That bead's not going to be shifting all over the place. And then get in there and give it a nice tight trim. And that's what we're going to do with all these, which I'm going to go off camera and do because you don't need to watch me. I'll do one more, but after that I'm just going to do them all off camera. So again, come right down to our crystal, bend it over, get a hold of it here. Boy, that blue jay is loud. Up and over, rotate. I'm making a mess of this one. And just wrap it. I can straighten it out afterwards. Just like that. Yeah. Trim it off. And honestly, you're never going to see those loops once it's all clustered anyway. So we need a total of those. I'm going to finish those up. Okay, I have them all put together here. My camera decided to stop working for me while I was on pause, and generally it stays on the whole time I'm on pause, so I don't know what happened there. So there might be a little glitch in this. I'm not sure. I think I got everything covered. I hope so. But anyway, let's get going. So I'm going to put on a bead cap. One of my beautiful Amazonite beads. Gosh, these beads are so pretty. Again, with the bead cap. Now we're going to take our, get out my pliers here. We're going to take our jump rings, our little 4mm jump rings. Open it up and put on just 2 of our little wire wrapped micro beads here. Close it up and thread that right on. Do the same thing. Let's mix up the beads a little bit here. And do it again. I'm just going to repeat these few steps. Couple more times. It's already starting to look really cute. Again, like I said, 18 gauge wire would probably be a better bet, because we are going to curve this a little bit and we want it to retain that curve, which it would do better with a heavier wire. But I don't have any. Alright. I think I have some in silver. I guess I could have done it in silver. None of my metals on this are working working in to the copper theme like they were supposed to. Anyway, I've used up so much of my stuff, but that's okay. I think it's going to be just as pretty anyway. So, alright, our last 2 little dangles. I mean, this one came out beautiful, and I did this one on the 20 gauge, so I love it. I think it's gorgeous. I will definitely be wearing that. Has a nice beachy vibe, so it'll be perfect for summer. And leather is a nice light medium for summertime jewelry. Alright, that's our 4 little cluster sections. We'll put on our last bead. I guess I have extra bead caps out too. Actually, I don't want to put them in there because that's my other kit. Better not do that. So we have that so far. Now we're going to take and let them drop down naturally. You don't want to push them too hard because you want your little dangly beads to be able to flow a little bit. So you want just a little room in there. So I'm just going to take the tip of my pliers like this, bend over it to give myself a little wrapping room here. Do the same thing we did on the other end, up and over, rotate, bring it around. I think I am going to take this one right off the pair of pliers there. Give it a wrap or two. Maybe I'm not. I can hold them so much better when they're on my round nose pliers than if I try to do this method. I don't know why. Yeah, I'm going to put it back on there. They don't twist on me as much. think I can get one more wrap in there without it being too tight. There we go. Trim it off. This one might need a little pushing in there. All right, now we want to grab our loops and align them so that they're laying parallel to each other. And then take our little band piece here and just give it a slight curve. It doesn't need much, just a slight curve. I might have got that a little too tight. My danglies don't want to quite flow. That is something you want to watch out for, is not getting it too tight. Might be able to move these up a bit. I think I pinched it when I shoved that piece down in. And there we go. Very pretty. All right, now we just need to construct it, which is very easy. It's just a couple of jump rings and a lobster clasp. So this is a really simple, quick to put together bracelet. You just want to grab one loop here and your leather attachment. And so the same thing on this side, and I didn't get out a jump ring to attach the lobster, for the lobster to clasp into. That's what I'm trying to say. But I'll grab one in a second here. And this is just about a 8mm jump ring, I think. Somewhere in that area. Big enough for this to clasp into, that's all we need. And there you have it. A pretty little leather bracelet. I do like the wide width of it. You could actually also do it in this form using just two strips of the 2mm. It's also another option with just the little fold over clasp, because that will fit those 2mm strips perfectly. So there's 3 different options for your banding. You could also go with some really pretty colors, like, you know, use a colored leather. That would be real pretty. But yeah, I think it came out real pretty. And let me measure it out, show you. Get some of this stuff out of my way. And yeah, it measures right out at about 7.5 inches. And when it's on, I'm not going to be able to put it on because I can't clasp it myself, but that's what you have. Well, I hope you guys enjoyed this one. Let's move on to the earrings. Earrings are a little more time consuming just because there are so many little crystals, but I did already do up most of them in advance. I don't even know why I get out so many eye pins here. Head pins, I mean, sorry. But we are going to need 10 of these wired up little pieces, And I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. Yep, right there. 2 bead caps, and again, one of your 8mm. We're going to need 5 of these little, these ones are open because I was already working on this and wanted to make sure it worked. An ear wire. You're going to want 10 ball head pins. I only need 4 now. 3 and 4. And again, we're going to do the exact same thing we did for the bracelet. We're going to put them on a ball head pin. Try to find one that's somewhat straight. That is really crimped. Let's see if I can straighten it out enough for that bead to go down on it. There we go. And do the same thing. Bend it over. Come in on the top. Up and over. Rotate. Bring it around. Do your wraps. And trim it off. If you get in there nice and close on these, you don't have to tuck them, which is good because these crystals will crack really, really easy. So I'll do these other 3 and be right back. Alright, we have all of those together. I didn't mention, but we are going to need one eye pin. And I thought I had one out, but I guess not. Thought I had one right here. Alright. So we're going to take our bead cap and put it on our eye pin. Put on our pretty little Seafoam green Amazonite. And I think I want these lined up, correct? Let me see. Yes, I want these to, I want my loops to run parallel with each other, so I'm going to try as best I can to do that right in the folding process by folding it in line with it. Doesn't always work, but sometimes. And it did, mostly. Alright, it's not too bad. Just a little tiny bit off. So there's that part. I am going to go right ahead and hook on my ear wire right now just because I want to get it right out of the way. I am not a fan of these ear wires, I have to admit. I really don't care for these kind. But they're what we've got, so I will certainly work with them. I'm going to take one of my little 4mm, put it right through that loop, bead on 2 of my dangle beads. Try to hold this whole thing and not lose it. Close it up. You want to separate your 2 dangles off to the side, because when you hook your next one you want it to be in between. So let's see if I can do it without losing everything. So I'm just going to hook right in between the 2 beads like that. Put on 2 more. Close it up. Do the same thing with this ring. Lay them out so that One is on either side. And get some of these other excess tools out of my way. Hook that one. Put on 2 more. And that's all you're going to do all the way down through. So it'll be a total of 5 times. Make sure you don't catch the loop of your dangles. Whoop. And our last ones. And this is a great way to use up all these little tiny micro-faceted beads that we often get. And it makes a very, very beautiful piece. This actually would be really pretty as the focal hanging down on a necklace as well. And put on the last 2. Maybe. And close it up, and there is your gorgeous little cluster earring. Isn't that pretty? And not that hard to do. A little bit time consuming with all the wrapping, but you know, it's great practice. The more you do it, the better you get at it. So this is a perfect opportunity to do that. If you have really strong, sturdy eye pins, head pins, I'm sorry, like a really heavy gauge, you can just do the simple loop method. That works just as well. These head pins are very, very thin, and wrapping them is really the best option for them. But all right, so here we have our pretty little cluster earrings, and if I can get this bracelet untangled on myself. And our pretty cluster bracelet. This band, in time, as you wear it, will start to form. It'll soften and start to form to your wrist a little more and curve, and you know, like leather does. But what a pretty set, huh? And change from all the necklaces I make. I do a lot of necklaces, I know, and they get a little old sometimes. It's nice to change it up. So here's a pretty, pretty little set. Thank you guys for joining me today. Again, this is the bargain bead box. This was the March 2024 bargain bead box, Seafoam Sunrise. If the box had been entirely copper and the Amazonite beads, I'd have been happy. I love, as you can tell probably from everything that I've created, I love that that color combination. They're so pretty. But if you haven't already subscribed to the bargain bead box and would love to, the bargain bead box is a monthly beading subscription. They come out generally around the 7th to the 10th of the month. They bill you the month in advance, and they bill around the 20th. You'll get your box around the 7th to the, I'm going to say 15th. We'll say 7th to the 15th, somewhere in that range. So if you're in the United States, if you're out, if you're out of the United States, it could be a lot longer, unfortunately. But that's, that's shipping. That's not the bargain bead box fault. So if you want to join, I do have a code. It's CHAR2, CHAR2, and you can get $2 off your first month subscription. I guarantee you're not going to regret it. It's $22.99 a month. It comes with enough materials to make multiple pieces of jewelry that mix and mingle, and you can make a whole complete set out of that you can mix and match. So yeah, but anyway, thank you for joining me today. Again, this is my last March project. sometime this week I want to put out a spring pearl styled necklace, so hopefully that'll be out by Thursday. Thank you all for joining me. Love you guys.